In my last video, I explained how priority works, but some of you wanted some real life examples. So again, we'll say that it's currently player 2's turn, and we've just moved into their first main phase. Active player, or whoever's turn it currently is, gains priority first. As long as they're holding on to priority, they can take as many actions as they want. And if they don't want to take any actions, they pass priority to the next player in turn order. Player 2 wants to cast Seething Song, which would add 5 red mana into their mana pool. It gets put onto the stack and waits till it can resolve. They ultimately want to be able to copy Seething Song for more mana, and maybe if they're lucky, they could even flash back Increasing Vengeance for more copies. The question is, would his opponents allow him to? First off, let's go over what they cannot do. They're worried about a counterspell, so maybe they can try to test the water. So they'll pass priority to player 3. Player 3 doesn't want to do anything, so they'll pass to player 4. Player 4 also doesn't want to do anything, so they'll pass to player 1. And then player 1 says they don't have anything, so they'll pass priority. At this point, player 2 is not allowed to just jump in and cast Increasing Vengeance, because currently they do not have priority. When they first cast the Seething Song, they created a round of priority, and that round of priority would end if all other players passed their priorities without taking any actions that would restart it. So as soon as player 1 says they pass and didn't take any actions to restart the priority, we will have to resolve the last thing put on the stack immediately. And then anytime a spell or ability resolves, active player gains priority again. And by that point, Seething Song has done its thing and Increasing Vengeance has no targets. Now let's look at something that they can do. Player 2 just cast Seething Song and they still have priority. So while they're still holding on to priority, they'll cast Increasing Vengeance targeting Seething Song. It's important to note that no other players can jump in here because player 2 is the one with priority. And a player can only take an action if they're holding on to priority, and they can only be given priority if someone has passed it to them. Player 2 is happy with this and will pass priority to player 3. The next two players will pass, but player 1 wants to add counterspell to the stack targeting Seething Song. Since player 1 has now taken an action, this will reset the round of priority, which gives all other players an opportunity to respond. They'll be done with their turn and pass priority. And from here, everyone else is going to pass priority. With this round of priority ending at player 4, since player 1 started it. We'll resolve the last thing put on the stack, which is counterspell, which puts Seething Song into the graveyard. Then active player gains priority again, and when we pass through this round of priority, we'll resolve the last thing put on the stack, which is now Increasing Vengeance, which has no targets and will fizzle and go to the graveyard. Let's take a look at one more way this could play out. This time, after casting Seething Song, they'll pass priority. Player 3 will pass, player 4 will pass, and then player 1's going to cast Counterspell targeting Seething Song. So now that player 1 has restarted priority, they'll pass to player 2, and now that they have priority again, they can cast Increasing Vengeance targeting Seething Song. And since they've taken an action, they've restarted priority again. So they'll go ahead and pass, player 3 will pass, player 4 will pass, and then player 1 used up their Counterspell, so they'll pass as well. And because nobody did anything to restart priority, the last thing on the stack will get to resolve. From here, active player gains priority again, and we can repeat everything that we've been doing until the stack is empty.